Steelers Commanders. Next game I want to hit. Matchup that matters. What do you got?
TJ Watt versus
Heard of him?
Washington.
I've
Yeah,
heard of
heard of
him.
him.
Yep.
Washington O-line, their tackles in particular, because of the fact that, again, I just think that this is a huge opportunity for the Steelers to exploit a matchup. Now, the Washington O-line, it's actually good. Like, they
It
have been
is.
doing
Yes.
incredibly well. They have outperformed any expectations so far this season. I am not here to hate on the Washington Commanders offensive line. I happen to like it. And they do really well, especially now that Jaden Daniels is starting to open up the playbook a little bit more. I guess Cliff Kingsbury is. And Jaden Daniels is pushing the ball down the field. I believe the last I checked, which was last week, he had the fifth longest average depth of target, which was a direct contrast to the first 4 games of the season when he had like the 10th, or like he was ranked 40th in average depth of target, so among quarterbacks. So this is something that the offensive line has been able to open up for him and make him feel protected. But now you go against the Steelers defensive line. Now you go against TJ Watt, who is the has the second overall PFF grade, 93.7 among edge defenders, 93.2 run defense grade, which is going to come in handy against the Commanders and what they do with Brian Robinson. You've got 90.9 pass rushing grade, which ranks third, 22 pressures. So it's not as if that I think that's where we're seeing a little bit of a drop off in production, if you want to call it that, for TJ Watt. But again, he has the potential to be a game wrecker. And now the Steelers have added Preston Smith, who fits their scheme beautifully well. How much he's going to play, I don't know. But he certainly should be in the edge rushing rotation, which means attention will be taken off of doubling up TJ Watt when you have to pay attention to a guy like Preston Smith. So this defensive line in general now has so much more versatility with the addition of Preston Smith, and going against these Commanders offensive tackles who, as far as grades go, pass blocking wise, 16th, and overall grade 16th among offensive lines. That's going to be a huge thing to see if this line can really hold up against one of the best defensive fronts in football.
I agree. I think this is a huge matchup that's going to, determine this game. The Commanders' offensive line, again, I'm glad that you gave them their flowers there. They have the 4th highest pass blocking grade in the NFL so far this year. Kudos to them and the great job that they have done. They're going up against 2 legitimate defensive player of the year candidates in TJ Watt and Cam Hayward. And that's not even mentioning, Keanu Benton and Alex Highsmith and now Preston Smith and Nate Herbig. And it's so many waves of guys that they could throw you. So this will be their toughest test yet, obviously, with the Steelers being the best defensive line in the NFL. So that's a huge matchup that matters. I am very excited to get Mike Sainristil in the face of George Pickens to see what we can get from this matchup, because these are
You've
two fight.
You've been on Mike Sainristil for the last 3 weeks, and I really appreciate it.
And he has had some great matchup. Like it was Malik Neighbors the week prior. Now it's against George Pickens. Like these are feisty matchups for a guy that I know is never going to back down from these. So you can factor in Marshawn Lattimore, and I think that he'll play a role here. I don't know how much he's going to get matched up against Pickens, but I think that Russell Wilson is actually doing a very nice job with this passing offense. I think specifically with the touch pass and the deep ball passes, he is diversifying the passing attack more than Justin Fields was able to. Don't want to take anything away from a good year that Justin Fields was having. He was bringing a great rushing element, and I thought he was even passing the ball better than he had in the past. He was reading the field well. He was seeing the things. He was seeing the field well, but Fields is a fast ball thrower. And sometimes in the NFL, you've got to be able to throw a changeup and a slider, and you just got to be able to throw the ball at different angles, put different air under the football, rhythm and timing, things like that. And Russell Wilson just does that at such a high level, or at least he has throughout his career. We didn't see it much with the Broncos, certainly last year, the year before, but we saw some flashes of it with the Steelers once he was put in there as the starter. So George Pickens, a big benefactor of that. Can you stop him? Because if you can, then all of a sudden the Steelers offense gets really predictable. And I think that goes right into my plus factor, and that's Najee Harris. Now, Najee Harris has had some really good games over the last 3 games specifically. I know they just had a bye, but over the last 3 games the Steelers have played, he has rushed for over 100 yards, and it's not just that. His grades are good too. 83.9 rushing grade in those 3 games that he has played. So the offense has become so much more balanced with Russell Wilson out there, and how he is able to sort of diversify where the ball goes in the passing game. That's lightening things up for the run game. Najee Harris, I don't want to take anything away from him there. He individually is also playing very well. And if he can continue to play at a very high level, then the Steelers can remain balanced. You got a chance in this game. And I think that that's really what they would need on that side of the ball. So that's my matchup that matters in plus factor. What's your plus factor in this game?
Well, it's the new arrival in Pittsburgh, which is Mike Williams, which is kind of funny to say because I know that he wasn't super productive, obviously, for the Jets, and him and Aaron Rodgers couldn't get on the same page. And honestly, he got a couple more targets than I even thought he would after he had that really bad drop a few games ago. But that being said, the type of receiver that Mike Williams is, he has 7 catches this year, gaining 15 or more yards. That is crucial to what Russell Wilson wants to do in Pittsburgh, which is throw the deep ball outside the numbers down the field. That is where Mike Williams can shine. He is big, he's got length, and this is kind of his bread and butter. He's got 5 contested catches on the year, 9 catches gaining a first down. I mean, this is something that is missing right now from the Steelers passing attack, and it's something that Russell Wilson wants to do. So now you are getting him a guy that can absolutely do that. On top of having George Pickens, who I think is a wonderful young receiver, and he seems to be clicking with Russell Wilson as well. This is now a pretty versatile passing attack in Pittsburgh. And I mean, we know that this is a defensive-led team, but if you can actually get some offensive production here, now you're talking about a real, true, not just postseason berth, but postseason run for the Pittsburgh Steelers, even in the AFC North.
Yeah, I think it's a great call, though. I didn't mention Mike Williams by name just because I was thinking of all the other new that was going on here. But this is also a major factor because he does now give them sort of that same archetype that George Pickens is. And very clearly they are okay leaning into that. Now you just have another player who could do that sort of stuff. So love the call out there. I think that that's a great plus factor here for this game.